Can you hear that? The dark, creepy creatures in the forest at night. The children of the night. This can only mean one thing, folks. Halloween is right around the corner. It's actually not. We still have quite a bit of time. Is that me? We have quite a bit of time before the Halloween season, but there's never too much time for preparation for folks like myself who love the Halloween season. Halloween isn't just October 31st to me. It is really the 6 weeks leading up to that very special day that's incredibly nostalgic to me, going back to some of my earliest, most precious memories of a child. And that's precisely what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about some candles that will, I'm hoping, bring me back to those good old days of childhood Halloween nostalgia, going to the costume store, picking out the decorations, getting ready, the preparations for Halloween night, watching all my favorite Halloween specials. Well, I do all those things still today. I'm a grown man. I don't wear costumes sometimes, but I love putting on the Halloween specials. But one of my favorite things to do is to burn Halloween themed candles when I'm doing all of these Halloween activities. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing of a candle company, small batch candle company, handcrafted. I've never burned any of these before. I've never smelled any of these before. But the fine folks at Lunar Light Company have sent me a box filled with tricks or treats. And I'm going to unbox them, show you what I have, and do on-the-spot evaluations of all of the fragrances that are inside. Welcome, everybody, to the Candle Enthusiast. I am your host, Shane Carlson. And this is a live stream, meaning I can see your comments. You can chat while I am reacting to these candles in real time. I do want to move through these candles quickly, because a lot of you folks might be new to the channel, and I don't want to spend too much time answering too many questions now, because after this, we'll be having an after show on my second channel, and I'll tell you all about that when the time comes. And there's a lot of fun stuff happening on our after show, including big news for the Yankee Candle preview party for 2019 at South Deerfield, Massachusetts, the home of the Yankee Candle Village. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into this. I do want to pull you guys up, just in case if I do see you guys in the corner of my eyes. I want to be able to answer some questions. And if I have any questions for you, this is great. This way you guys can help me out. And if you haven't subscribed already to this channel, please do that. We're days away now from the 3rd anniversary of the Candle Enthusiast, and it would be great if we could get to 4,000 subscribers by the 3rd anniversary. And we're so close. We're so close. I see all the familiar faces and some new faces. Thank you for joining in. Let us get started. Of course, the box I need is at the bottom of the pile. That's perfect. Let's see. I'm going to cross out this address just in case we're trying to keep anything secrets here. Okay, I smell the Sharpie marker, not the candles. But here we have the box. I didn't even see this. I've had this box in my possession for several days, and I did not even see this zombie creature stamped on the side of the box. That is a really nice touch. I want one of those. I do a lot of shipping myself. Let's do this. Has anyone burned Lunar Light candles before? Especially the Halloween candles, because these are all brand. Well, I don't know if the fragrances are all brand new, but this is the official 2019 Halloween collection. If you haven't burned the candles before, are you following Lunar Light Candle Company on Instagram? You're not? If you're not, make sure you do that. All of the information, all the contact info will be in the description below, including the website for Lunar Light, all of the social media handles. And as soon as the video is done, I'll list the candles that we are going to be evaluating here. Because I have no idea what's in this box. I want to make that perfectly clear. I haven't read any fragrance notes, nothing. And I've never burned a Lunar Light before. So first thing I'm seeing, let's get you guys to see this. Bam. We have some branding, some tissue paper. What do we got there? That kind of looks like, sort of in the realm of Lydia from Beetlejuice. She's got a bat umbrella and a nice slender tall cat with Lunar Light Candle Company. Sorry for the soft focus. That's a nice touch. That's a very nice touch. I like it. I'm actually going to keep that. And then we have the business card here. Lunar Light CO Company. Spooky scents made by ghouls, because every day is Halloween. Yeah, I dig that. I dig that immensely. And all of this info that's on the back of the card I will share in the description below. We have peanuts. I'm trying to not make a mess anymore. Every time I do these lives, it's like I have spring cleaning to do in the studio here, because I make a mess for maybe sometimes for amusement. But it's not amusing to me anymore because I'm getting tired of cleaning. I want this place to stay clean. I have a lifetime supply of bubble wrap and peanuts. Alright, so I have all the candles here in front of me. Let's just jump right into it. And I just want to keep my eyes on you guys. If you have any questions, just like put them in caps, you know, if you have a big question and you're trying to get my attention. So we have some tissue paper with, again, the Signia Lunar Light CO with very nice packaging. I just had a small candle this size in a huge box come to my P.O. box. P.O. box is in the description below if you guys want to send me anything for evaluation. But I just had this little candle in this huge box come, and the candle was smashed. So just because, and it wasn't Lunar Light, it was something I actually bought on eBay. Just because it's in a box, a big box, does not mean candles don't break. So let this be a lesson to everybody. Perfect way to start. Let's get a nice focus on here. Trick or treat. Now, I can see right there a mirrored image on the screen of some fragrance notes. I'm going to try to not read them. I'm sure some of them are going to catch my eye. But we have this wraparound label with tricks, well, not tricks, but mainly treats on this label. So that is the question. Whenever you have a candle called trick or treat, or tricks or it's tricks, trick or treat, trick or treat. Ah, okay, it's not tricks or treats. I like saying tricks or treats, but plural. I'm always wondering, are we ever going to we get the treats, but do we ever get tricks? Because you're asking a question, trick or treat, question mark. Let's see what we have here. Woo! All right, I'm going to do this fast, so I'm not going to, whatever comes to mind, I'm just going to say it. I'm getting right from the get-go this candified, bright citrus orange. We can say orange spree candies, We can say, what other candies are in that category? I don't want to say Starburst. I'm always saying Starburst. But almost like an orange creamsicle that's really, really tart. A little less on the cream, a little bit more on the citrus tartness. But oh my god, I use this description all of the time. I'm legitimately excited already. This is how fast it happens for me, how I can get this excited. I use this description all the time, but this is probably the most I've meant it in a very long time. Smarties candies. I don't know when Smarties were created. I don't know when they hit the market. I don't know what company currently owns Smarties. But they are what I would consider still kind of old school candy that are sweet but have tartness to them. Malic acid, citric acid. And old penny candy didn't really have that tartness, brightness to it. And I get Smarties. I use the Smarties candy description not only in candles, but I actually use it in wine. Really, on some young Chardonnays that are freshly bottled, I get this bright tartness, and because I get it on Chardonnay, I know it's one thing. It's malic acid. Malic acid is the natural acid inside of tree fruit and apple, where of course citric acid is going to be found in citrus fruit. Malic acid is something completely different. It's usually the food grade powder malic acid is what's on like warheads and really sour candies. And this is not really sour, but it has that balance of sweet and tart, like those Smarties candies, freshly crushed, like we just crushed them up, right? Like a pixie stick. Threw them in a blender, whatever you want to call it. And there's that powdery, soft sweetness. You can smell the the confectioner's sugar, and there's that light tartness in the background. And there's a definitive blue smell. What do I mean by that? When we have candies, when we have slushies, when we have, ices and slush puppies, whatever they may be, you always have a flavor like blue raspberry or something crazy like that, like blue blast or ocean blue splash in the face, something, right? Something that, the candy world has their own definition of what blue is supposed to smell like. I'm getting a little bit of that in here. If there was, like, imagine if they released blue raspberry Twizzlers, it would kind of smell like this. Now, I'm mentioning all of the tart, bright, berry, citrus notes, but we really need to talk about the softer, sweeter notes. There is a vanilla. We could call it vanilla. We could call it buttercream. We could call it frosting. But this can only mean one thing to me. This is with the name of this candle, Trick or Treat, this is adding that candy corn element to the table. Because if everything is just bright and sour, well, that's fun, but you need something to soften the fragrance, ground it, to make it a little bit more decadent and, of course, more complex. But there is a restraint. When I mean restrained, it's not like, this is candy corn with a little bit of Smarties on top. It's kind of the opposite. There's just a hint of this buttercream frosting, confectioner's sugar. I'm trying to think of some other little connection I can make. With this, what I'll say about this is if you are... if you are a child, a product of the 80s, the 90s, maybe contemporary days. I don't know what kind of candies are out there these days. But, the candy I consumed was in, the later part of the 80s, earlier part of the 90s. And this really is, I would consider, my generation of candy. This reminds me of the candies, minus the chocolate, that were inside of my trick-or-treat bag when I got home from getting those treats. No tricks. I didn't play a lot of tricks. Let's see. All right. Wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. These are the fragrance notes. Now these are just what's on the label. There might be much more going on. Plum, candied orange. That I'm kind of excited about because I wasn't sure there was gonna. I was saying orangesicle. I really wasn't confident there was gonna be any citrus notes on here. Cranberry. There you go. Cranberry is adding that tartness that I undeniably smelled on these candles. And vanilla. So again, the way that works is think of the vanilla being the candy corn, the cranberry and the candied orange being the tartars, but still sweet candies in your trick-or-treat bag, and the plum adding to, plum is blue fruit. I said this smells like blue. Plum is technically, it's a stone fruit, but it's in the blue fruit family. So with that said, I feel like all the fragrance notes were clearly illustrated on my initial impression of this candle. Let's take before I forget, a quick look at the wax here. I'm not sure. I didn't take a close look at the business card. Let's see if we can find out. If anybody knows the wax blend here. This certainly is a softer wax. I just don't know if it's 100%. And that is perfectly fine with me. It doesn't say here, but like I said, this is softer wax. Nice radius diameter of this jar. This looks about like 6 ounces. I could be wrong. It could be more. 6-ounce jars, and this will easily, with the thick glass of this is pretty thick glass, will pull out even if you have a cold living room during those September, October, or even November months. You could burn this in July if you want. But let's keep moving. I want to make sure that we are, we got to get some coffee. I'm always forgetting to do this. We have our It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Listen closely. Oh yeah. We all love that sound, don't lie. Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah. All right. Remind me to drink some water too, because I got to keep hydrated. Candle number 2. We have a gray slate color. Again, I'm going to try to keep my eyes off the fragrance notes here. Let's get some focus. October 13th. All right, so the 13th of October. Would it be a Friday? Well, it's going to be a Friday this year. We're going to have a Friday the 13th. Am I making that up? I don't think I am. I think we have a Friday the 13th in October for this year. And what is that right there? It's a calendar with a knife penetrating the paper, a little bit of blood spatter on that calendar there. Let's give this a sniff. Here we go. What does October 13th smell like? Maybe that should be its own holiday. Whoa. All right. I know what's going on here right off the bat, but I want to make sure that I say this. There is look, if it's not black licorice, I'd be very surprised. However, It does also kind of smell like the resin myrrh. If you've ever smelled products that have myrrh in it, myrrh as in like myrrh and frankincense, you know what I'm talking about. If you smell myrrh alone, it's this warm, sometimes like a black licorice smell. It's a little bit dusty, it's a little bit smoky at times. It's a very deep, exotic smell. Myrrh to me is like what I would imagine Elvira's dungeon, her like where she lounges on the couch and does the late night television shows. Like, to me, that's myrrh would smell like her living space in her dungeon. And the reason why I wanted to bring up the myrrh is because myrrh has this slight, it often does, has this slight latex smell. Now, don't think of like surgical gloves, right? Don't go in the wrong direction. That's over there. Think about if anyone does special effects makeup art, like prosthetics for Halloween or is in the industry, think of like a little bit of liquid latex. More specifically, the good old days before, Halloween masks were 100% vinyl. Back in the good old days when quality Halloween masks were at least partially a blend of latex. They had this stretch to it, right? Stretch the mask on, the full head mask. You'd go into the Halloween shop and you'd have that wall filled with Halloween masks. The masks that were far too expensive. You were never going to be able to afford it. Your parents were never going to drop, $85, $125 for some of these masks. Most of them made by Don Post and places like Ruby's. But if I got a couple in my lifetime, in my childhood, some latex masks, and there's that distinct smell when you put on a Halloween mask of that lingering latex. Not lingering, it's just that cured latex inside the mask. And so, although this is definitely black licorice, this is probably not myrrh. Maybe there's some myrrh in there. I don't know. It is reminding. I'm getting that light latex smell. So if you're fond of those memories of the Halloween shop, that you go in and all the Halloween masks are on the wall, had that very distinct smell, and I'm getting that right from the beginning here. There is how do I want to classify it? I missed this one last time on a candle, or a couple videos ago, so I want to make sure I don't miss it again, because it's one of the most important notes in Halloween autumn candles, and that's going to be apple. This smell, let me just paint a portrait. I mean, what I'm seeing in my mind is fresh crushed apples. I used to, when I was younger, go into the apple plants, the factories, where after they harvest the apples, they bring them in, they separate the small ones that go into the plastic bags for the grocery stores, and then they take the big ones and they dice them up for canned, like diced apples or apple pie filling. But there was a whole, these big plants. Everyone in my hometown worked at a plant, so you would get to go inside. And, there would always be section of these plants where they had apple solids. The skins, the seeds, the stems of the actual apple. And there would just be a big, like apple crate, a big wooden crate with a big, like a garbage bag. And all of these solids would be sitting in there. And this is before it start to ferment and get all funky. This would be like fresh apple aroma. And I'm saying that because woodiness, but fresh apple, and not just the juice. This is not Mott's apple juice. This is not apple cider. This is fresh apples, like fresh skin. Fresh squeezed apple juice. There's a little bit of this bright tartness, like I was getting on the last candle. Come on. trying to think of like a deeper note here. Well, the licorice is serving as the deeper note. I'm liking it. I'm all right with that. I'm gonna say apple. Maybe a base note of something like a. I'm trying to think of what would be a good call. Like apple, crepe, oak. Oak is a big one this year. We're seeing oak barrels and candles as a description. Okay. I should have just... Okay, that didn't come... Well, first of all, these are 9-ounce candles. Did I say 6? I apologize. 9-ounce candles. So, pretty close. I'm never going to get this plum. I'm never going to get it. But it's functioning inside the candle nicely. In both this one and the last one. Black licorice, apple wood... So, okay, so don't let that confuse you. It's not just, to me, there was a woodiness, but it was more of the apple than the wood. But that is a perfectly fine descriptor, in my opinion. I can see the vanilla here, but I think the vanilla is working in conjunction with that black licorice, root beer-esque aroma. And the plum is adding a little bit of brightness. Very good. You need a black licorice candle. Here's the thing. Here's what's important. If you're not a black licorice person, let's face it, it's probably the most hated. It's hot here. I apologize. Black licorice is probably the most, even more than candy corn, probably the most hated candy that's around during Halloween, and that's fine. A lot of people can't stand it, but with that said, it's a smell that's synonymous with Halloween, is it not? And if you don't like big, bombastic, over-the-top black licorice candles like Yankee Candle's Happy Halloween, Colonial Candle had a great one last year, Graveyard Fog, I believe it was called. If you don't like the intense black licorice, this is something that could work for you. It's at least worth giving a shot because it smells like black licorice, but it's not a black licorice candle. Does that make sense? There's other things going on. Let's continue. Let's get some water. Hydrate. How we all doing out there? Are we having a good Sunday? Are we relaxing? Was there any good programming on television? Did you get out of the house and do something special? Did you go buy any or look at the new Halloween decorations at like Home Goods or Michael's? I was looking at Shop Disney online last night of all of the new Halloween Disney products, and there's some really cool stuff this year, and some stuff that's really appropriate for candle burners. So there's some candle accessories. Oh yeah, Mr. Bobby Boris Pickett. Do you know who Bobby Boris Pickett is? Come on, let's see if anyone's got that. There's a massive delay. I'm not going to be able to catch you guys saying it. I had the great opportunity to meet Bobby Boris Pickett several times in my childhood, in my adolescence. He's the man who created and wrote, performed the infamous, probably the most classic Halloween song of all time. Before there was Michael Jackson's Thriller, there was the Monster Mash. And what would Halloween be without the Monster Mash? And he was such an incredibly kind gentleman. He did release a couple albums, but they were all just knockoffs of the success of the Monster Mash. And in his later years, he would just travel the country during the autumn season and go to conventions. He would go to live events. He would sing in Halloween parades. He was in Salem, Massachusetts, I remember. down by the wharf. He appeared at Spooky World, America's horror theme park in Berlin, Massachusetts, and then in Foxborough, Massachusetts. And like I said, several times throughout my life, I crossed paths with him. And he would always perform the song and do it with great passion. Ooh, all right. And like a little monster mash, there's some, this is a little bit of Frankenstein's laboratory. Dr. Frankenstein, that is. Ooh, I better be careful and get this right. There is a huge contrast of bright fruit notes and a deeper musky note. And the muskiness, like think of your favorite Halloween wolf, like werewolf candles. They're usually these werewolf-themed candles are musky because you're thinking of the Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr., the tattered clothing, the flannel, the plaid, and the idea of this man crossed with a beast late out in the dark forest. So to me, muskiness is always... it kind of evokes that feeling of not only being outdoors and smelling florals, like powerful florals, but it smells like perhaps a cologne or the lingering smell that you would imagine the Wolfman's tattered clothes would smell like. Not like dirt. I'm talking about like cologne, right? Not necessarily clean, not like fabric softener, but the lingering smell of a masculine. We could even say, I could see a lot of women wearing this kind of musk. There's definitely, I shouldn't say definitely, but there's a wood note here. I'm getting that orange thing again. Orange Julius, kind of sugar-fied, concentrated orange juice. And I just wanted to make sure I had this before I said it. So patchouli is going to be in this candle. I think my best guess is a patchouli and some kind of muskiness. I don't know how it's going to be described in this candle. But more or less, okay, so again, instead of the Wolfman, think of the Frankenstein's monster. He's on the slab, right? I'm not going to start singing the Monster Mash. But we smell the wooden slab, but we smell, same concept, not the werewolf, but Frankenstein, right? The tattered clothing that he's wearing. It's, the patchouli adds to this mystical, magical, mad science laboratory of herbs and sobs is a vehicle, but sabs, I don't use sabs, but you know what I mean, like the jars of all the crazy concoctions that Victor Frankenstein has on his shelves. But there's a party element to this. Dr. Frankenstein and the monster have to have a little bit of downtime themselves. So this is like a bowl of fruit punch. I'm going to go with a fruit punch description here. Served in Dr. Frankenstein's laboratory. So we're getting that contrast of earthy, herbal, laboratory, deep smells, musky smells, earthy smells. But we have that bash going on, that monster's ball, that monster's bash, the Monster Mash. And with all of that said, this just smells like a place like a gift shop in Salem, Massachusetts. It just has that that smell of a store that sells spiritual items, candles and books and handmade jewelries and herbs, dried florals. Tonka, you gotta be kidding me. All right, Tonka. All right, so is there not patchouli in this candle? Tonka is super popular now. Sometimes I am way off, folks. I am way off, and this is a situation here, and I'm kind of embarrassed not to see patchouli on this jar. But think about, Tonka is going to resemble not a vanilla, a vanillin quality, IN at the end of that. Vanillin is a compound that's in many organic things, including wood, oak, for example. It's why oaked Chardonnay tastes like vanilla. But Tonka is a different thing altogether. I think it deserves, just like conversations like musk and amber, it deserves its own conversation. The Tonka bean, okay, it's a bean. I should say that. So Tonka spices, cherry spices or cherry and spices. Maybe am I smelling clove and not patchouli? Apples and berries. So I definitely feel like, okay, the fruit punch, I was on the ball. I made some hideous mistakes here, but you never know. Maybe there's some hidden little tokens in here. I know some people don't mention that there's patchouli in a candle because sometimes patchouli scares people a little bit. But I think I spoke too soon. I think I was just smelling a combination of those spices in Tonka, and I jumped to the conclusion that there was a touch of patchouli in there. Maybe there's not. Very good candle. I like the concept. A party in Frankenstein's laboratory. There's nothing better than that. Let's keep going. We got 2 more candles. Which candle so far speaks to you? That's question number 1. Question number 2. Monster Mash is the quintessential Halloween song, at least to me. But if there was one other Halloween song, we all know them. What other Halloween song would you like to see inspire a fragrance? Ghostbusters, Michael Jackson's Thriller, Werewolves of London, the one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eater, Love Potion number 9. There's plenty of those around. We have a candle called Night of the Jack-o'-lantern. Let's take a look here. Look at that. If that doesn't look like retro Halloween, I don't know what does. I love retro Halloween. What I mean by retro Halloween, I think we all know. You know how mid and early 20th century Halloween decor had this very specific look to it. A lot of decals like this, a lot of two-toned images. We have the Candle Enthusiast limited edition t-shirt. They're almost 2/3 sold out, but the logo or the artwork on the shirt is inspired by retro Halloween. It was really important to me. Let me just show you this real quick. We'll go back to this quickly at the end here and during the after show. But just in case, I don't want anyone to miss out. I limited these to 50. You can see there's different items here, but 50 products. And within 36 hours, we were 2/3 sold out. We have standard t-shirts. We have for standard t-shirts for men, women, and children. We have premium t-shirts for men and women. You can choose your own color. We have hoodies as well. There's hoodies. And again, yes, all different sizes are available. If you want to change the color, you want to do pink and be wild and crazy, be a wild and crazy kid. Do what you feel. Do what you feel. And if you're not a t-shirt person, I know what that's like. Everybody needs a trick-or-treat bag, so we have the Candle Enthusiast logo on. Well, it's not. This isn't my official logo, but this is the 2019 artwork. Every year, I'm going to do a t-shirt for Halloween, a limited edition, and this will be the first printing that we've ever done. So make sure you check out the link in the description below to find out how to get your shirt, because they're going to be gone. I'm happy I already bought mine. I just went with the standard t-shirt. I went with like a lime green color. We'll see what everyone else has. I'm excited. A night of the jack-o'-lantern. So I do. You know, what does this remind me of? This reminds me of John Carpenter's Halloween, the simple black or orange on black. And when I mean simple, I like the minimalism sometimes. So let's see what we have here. All right, so we have our pumpkin pie spices. We'll talk about that in a second. I want to see if I can catch other things before I start talking about that. The crust, specifically. You know, sometimes you think you smell things because of aromatic associations. You know, sometimes, I'm talking about a candle and I smell spices, and maybe I don't smell like a pumpkin pie crust or an apple pie crust, but your mind processes that you do because of the associations that we have with aromas, right? Because how often when you smell spices, do you also smell like a savory treat out of the oven? And this is something that I always like to talk about as far as the art form of candle making. Sometimes what's not in the candle is the most important element of the candle. Does that make sense? It's like a magician's trick. It's about deception. It's about showing you one thing, but making you believe another. Sometimes the less you show, the less you demonstrate, the more your mind has to connect the dots, and the more your mind engages, the better the effect can be sometimes. So this is clearly a situation where I'm smelling pumpkin pie spice. So cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, you can add clove, maybe there's allspice. I'll give it a second smell. Brown sugar, a little bit of molasses. But all of those things kind of create the smell of that golden, crispy, crunchy, flaky, but still a little bit chewy and dense pumpkin pie crust. I really think I'm getting the crust. In fact, the ginger, it's almost like a ginger snap aroma. And I'm glad I said molasses, because gingerbread cookies, molasses, Joe Frogger cookies. Joe Frogger cookie is going to be a molasses based cookie. That's what's coming through to me. I'm definitely getting maybe not a super savory crust or muffin or some kind of buttery, salty, warm treat, but getting a little bit of this ginger snap or warm gingerbread cookies. So could this work for Christmas as well, or Thanksgiving for that matter? I think so. There's a creamy element here. To me, this is a definitive pumpkin pie, pumpkin bakery treat candle. It plays by all of those rules, and The authenticity is there. What's interesting, and sometimes I'm actually just smelling the wax, but I swear I'm just gonna say it. No shame. I'm smelling a little bit of baking soda. You know how baking soda has that kind of saltiness when you smell it, right? So there's kind of like definitely like some dry ingredients here. Like this is like the spices, the dry ingredients, maybe even the flour, before you actually start making that delicious treat. I'm gonna say it. I mean, I could probably just say a little bit of saltiness, but I spent a lot of time in the kitchen, and I know it. You know how soft pretzels can have that baking soda aroma? It's not the yeast that you smell, it's the baking soda smell. It's kind of a little bit in there. I'm very curious to see what this says. Okay, that's not going to be addressed, unfortunately. I wanted to look super cool there, but pumpkin, so straight up pumpkin, as in the gourd. And you know what? Why didn't I at least consider that? I didn't even consider it. Because it's there. I mean, it's definitely serving as a platform for the rest of the spices. But I could definitely see some raw pumpkin in there, or maybe even like a butternut squash kind of thing, pre-baked or roasted or broiled, whatever you do with your gourds. Pumpkin, cinnamon, clove, spice. So signifying that there is more spice in there. Sugar, definitely, because I was getting that cinnamon sugar thing. And then warm vanilla. The warm vanilla, I think, and the spices were really pulling me to that molasses place. And I think that is a very important descriptor of this candle. Molasses, gingerbread. So imagine a fusion of a beautiful pumpkin pie and gingerbread. All you have to do essentially is add the molasses, and then the warm vanilla is adding that creaminess. So whether you're using Ready Whip, not necessarily Cool Whip smell, but you can put. I put Cool Whip on my pumpkin pie. My grandmother did it. I'd do it. That's nostalgia in a tub, that Cool Whip. But the warm vanilla is adding that creaminess factor to take the edge off the spice. So, Night of the Jack-o'-lantern. Oh yeah. That's not. Sometimes people say this in a positive way when they go into a craft store around the Halloween season. I don't even want to say around the Halloween season, because you go to Michael's right now. They've had Halloween stuff out for how long already? But when you go in and like you're bombarded by all of the scents, the scented pine cones and the scented wreaths and the scented decoration and the potpourris and even the candles. Sometimes it's this aromatic overload and your head wants to explode. And unfortunately, sometimes those craft stores, that smell comes across as very artificial and not like a real culinary experience. That's not what that candle is. So if you're worried about monstrous, headache-inducing candles in the realm of pumpkin spice, I don't think you have to worry about that. And speaking of pumpkin spice, I was on the Candle Enthusiast Facebook group. I think it was yesterday. And I just want to show you this real quick. Well, I don't know where the post is going to be. But someone posted a picture of spam flavored, or not spam flavored, but pumpkin spice flavored spam. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Have they gone too far? Is it here? Okay, so these are all the announcements. I do want to. This is a great opportunity for me to wish the Candle Enthusiast Facebook group. I am not the creator of the group. The credit belongs to this dear woman right here, Rachel, my good friend, and the moderators who have created and nurtured and truly embraced the whole concept of Aromatic Adventures and the Candle Enthusiast. And where's Rebekah and Lauren? There's Lauren. Look at these smiles. These are the people creating the space. But I highly recommend, if you're not a member of the Candle Enthusiast Facebook group, it's not just candle talk, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's so much other fun conversations, other people's hobbies that they share. It's a place where you can make friends, and always rest assured that it will be a friendly, safe space. Even for the children. But I do want to say a happy 2-year anniversary to the Candle Enthusiast Facebook fan group, full name, and Rachel and all of the moderators, Eric, Lauren, Nicole, and Rebekah, for keeping the Candle Enthusiast Facebook page such a positive place and making me look cool. I appreciate that. Last candle on the list, Halloween night. Halloween night. So we had October 13th, and now we have Halloween night. And what do we got here? We got some skulls, we got some pumpkins, we got some candies, crossbones, coffins and ghouls of all types. And a black bat floating over, well, silhouetted by the moon. Ooh. Is there some glitter happening here? There's some glitter action. Can we see that? It's very faint, which is kind of cool, because it doesn't make this look too bedazzled. But there definitely is a little bit of kind of a what's a good word? A luster. A luster is a good word. It's encrusted with some kind of pixie dust, Halloween magical. I'm getting too excited. Too excited. Halloween night. Wow. All right. That's a big smell. You know when you want to say something, what I want to say is something really positive about the candle, but you don't want to say something rude about somebody else. And it's by somebody else, I mean another candle company. But gosh darn, I feel like this should be, maybe you guys might guess what I'm talking about after I describe it. I'm not going to call them out, but this should be the aroma of a candle that's very, very much anticipated this Halloween season, because I have smelled it. It's not been released. This is I mean, let's go deep. Let's get nerdy. Let's get in there. There's a little bit of like barnyard funk, and I don't mean like in a bad way, like, you know, scooping up manure or something like that. But you know what I'm talking about when you go into, one of those big barns in New England, and the whole ground is covered in hay and hay bales, and the old, weathered, tattered, rain-beaten and sun-bleached wood of the barn. What could that be? It's definitely like, it's very hay forward. I mean, this brings me to a farm immediately, like American Gothic, pitchfork. I'm on a farm somewhere. I'm in a barn or nearby. You know how they have in Napa Valley, they had them too. So it's not just a Northeast thing, but like harvest markets in autumn where you go and you pick out your pumpkins. And of course, they have like the kids' play area where you can climb the hay bales. But they also have like, a little bit of, the farm stand. I don't want to say petting zoo because, again, I don't want to draw the attention to, like, I don't want to say funky in the form of manure, but a definite farm quality here. But that's going to be, again, the surface, the bed. What's also present, I said that farm market because there is tree fruit. Apples and pears. I mean, fresh stuff. Stuff that's picked right off the tree. Perfectly ripened. Not these little things that you buy in the grocery store in the plastic bag. Those things they're not even close to being fully ripe when they're picked. If they're ripe, it's only because they've been sitting in that bag for 6 months in a cooler. But there's that beautiful smell of the fruit and the skin and just being up close and personal with tree fruit. Again, apple, but I definitely want to say, pear, because pear, I always mention that pear skin, like Bartlett pear skin, has, I don't know if it's right for me to classify it as a musk, but there's this floral, very fragrant quality to the skin of a pear. You know what I'm talking about. It doesn't taste like the meat of the pear, but the skin is very distinct. And I'm getting that. So this, again, painting the portrait of harvest time on the farm. And crushed leaves, baby. Crushed leaves. Do we have any crushed leaves here? We don't have any crushed leaves on here, but think about the scene where Linus runs into Charlie Brown's pile of leaves in It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. And Linus pops out and he's like, never jump into a pile of wet leaves with the wet sucker, right? Imagine what that pile of leaves would smell like. It's freshly raked, so they're all stirred up, meaning you're kind of just tossing all of that aroma into the air. There's a little bit of soil in there, but most importantly, it's a wet pile of leaves, not soaking wet, not sopping wet, but there's some dewy sweetness on those golden, bright red, and orange, multicolored autumn leaves, maple leaves. That's a very good smell. And I think that's quickly going to probably make this candle, so far, I usually don't do this. I think so far, I would never say this is the best candle. What I would say is this is my favorite candle. But I'm even going to be more specific. This is just this is what I gravitate towards. I love big fruity candles. I love spicy candles in autumn. But there's nothing like a candle that can just bring you someplace, bring you to an environment, a setting, especially if you have the experiences, the mental photographs stored deep inside your mind. I'm thinking about where, the places where my parents used to take me to pick out the pumpkins that we would put on our front porch. They had a little haunted house, I remember, at this farm. And, that's easily something, that little haunted house, that place, those memories of going to that farm. And now I'm thinking about it. I think we would go to that farm after we went to the haunted house, the attraction that we would go to every year. And I remember I think the reason why I loved going to the farm was because I was so nervous about going to the haunted house when I was a kid, that by the time we got to the farm, I was just excited. A real haunted house. Now the farm had like a little walk through, like animatronics and, you know, like the little, you know, 12, 16 inch animatronics that are meant for your living room. But it's memories like that are easily something, as you get older, you can forget. And you just can't forget those things. Those little nuggets, those little tokens of those memories, being with your parents, being with your siblings, and being with anybody, as long as there's happiness attached to those emotions. And to me, just thinking like, you know, that's something maybe I had forgotten. And the beauty behind candles, and the reason why I'm so passionate about aromatics and conceptual candles as compared to home fragrance. You know, home fragrance makes your house smell pretty. It deodorizes. But conceptual candles can take you someplace. And what this candle just did is it made me remember something near and dear to my heart. A memory that perhaps was gone. And here I am. I smell this candle. It comes right back to me. And this is a way aromatics can really enhance our lives. Seriously, I'm not milking this. This is truly what I believe, how aromatics on a daily basis can enhance our lives and truly make us happier. You know, it's an essential human function, and I don't think we use it enough or appreciate the art form of aroma and fragrance. And so I am certainly going to say that based on everything I said about the aroma profile of this candle, it being more of an outdoor setting candle, but most importantly, because this candle brought back that memory will always be tied to this fragrance. If I burn this candle and let that memory solidify, every time I go back to this candle, whether it's 2 years, 3 years, that memory is going to come flushing back. And to me, that is the most important thing. A little bit of firewood, like a fire pit. Maybe not like smoky. Oh, I'm getting more. Now, hold on. Okay, so in that pile of wet leaves, think about, let's add some pine needles and pine cones to that pile of wet leaves. And I swear I did not take a peek at the description notes. A little bit of a Christmas tree action thing is coming through. And maybe that pine was a little bit of the funkiness that I got in the beginning. I think it was. And the pine is bringing a bright I'm so glad I smelled this one last time. I just have to say this. The pine is bringing a big citrus component to this candle, which brightens it up. Let's see what it says. Oh, man. Okay, I'm not unhappy that I didn't get that, because I don't think I would have. But the fragrance notes on Halloween night is going to be white birch tree. So definitely that a wooden quality. To me, was a little bit of a campfire-esque wood smoke. Okay, all right. To me, again, don't worry if you're not into like smokiness. Like, this is not like what your clothes smell like after a bonfire, or the smoke that hits you in the face and makes your eyes burn. This kind of just smells like the fire after it's been extinguished, you know, the scorched firewood. So it's actually a very pleasant smell. It's not a big smoke fest. White birch tree, vanilla, and berries and clove. Yeah, you know what? It's just really well balanced. That's really well balanced. And whatever's going on in this white birch tree fragrance oil, I don't know if that's the name of the fragrance oil, or if there's something I don't know about white birch trees specifically. I mean, white birch. Is there a difference between like a normal birch tree and a white birch tree? I don't know. And is it the wood or is it the resin of the tree? I don't know. But whatever it is, it's definitely, the effect is that farm. It smells like the farm. It smells like the hay. It smells like the hayride. It smells like the hay bales, the pitchforks. But at the same time, that fruit, I said apples and pears, and it's telling me here that it's berries. All right, I'm all right with that. And a little bit of that clove, which is going to complement the smokiness of this candle. Clove and smoke always work well together, and it's described here as wood smoke. So Halloween night, I think I probably said enough about this candle, but I think it's quite clear how I feel about this one in particular. Look, folks, thank you. I want to give a big, huge shout out. Thank you to Lunar Light Company. I want you folks, if anything that I talked about today sounds intriguing, please do yourself a favor. In the description below, I've linked up all of everything you need. The website, the Instagram profile. The website is right here, so you can shop online on their web store. Here is the Halloween collection. I wasn't sure if I was going to receive all of the candles, and look at this. Are you kidding me? The whole collection is sold out. This is what happens, folks. Well, it means I should have done this sooner. Trick or Treat is sold out. Now, be sure, this is a better reason why you're going to want to go onto their Instagram profile, because it's way too early to sell out. So these will, I almost can promise you, these will be restocked throughout the season. But they're already sold out. And this one is not even released yet. Night of the Jack-O-Lantern, a pre-order. Look at the price, $15. And then $65 for the whole collection. October 13th, pre-order, and Monster Mash still available. That was a great candle. And then Halloween night is still available. So you can go right now and get those candles on the website Lunar Light CO, short for company.com, lunarlightco.com, and make sure you can also check out their Instagram profile, so you can see other people. Here's my photo. I made I just photoshopped an existing photo, but you can keep up to date with all of the activities when things sell out, if things are restocked. Plus, there's other candles. Oh, there's the stuff that's sold out. Again, we're talking about a small production company, guys, and it looks like we have like right here, the Crow. All right, the Crow, black pepper, cardamom, mandarin, woodsy, and patchouli. All right, like, is that the Crow, like Brandon Lee, the Crow, or is it like a takeoff of the Raven? Black number 1. We have the Craft. The Craft, like the film. I love this. I Put a Spell on You. I believe I was told that this one has been retired, but you never know. Might come back. And I Put a Spell on You. We have the Sanderson sisters on the label there. Black tea, incense, and patchouli. Yes, I dig it. I dig it. So make sure you swing over, subscribe. What's really important, let them know I sent you. That's not to make me look cool. That's to make them know that this video helped in a small way. This way, whenever they have new products, maybe they'll send more things our way. We can do giveaways. We can burn these candles. We can have fun with all these new products. And if you know anything about me, I love small batch, handcrafted candle companies. it's the art form that gets to me emotionally every time. So huge shout out, thank you to Lunar Light Company, and for everybody joining in on this live, or if you're watching it later at another, some point later in the season, that's cool too. But either way, I want you to leave a comment below. Let me know what your favorite Halloween candy is. What is your favorite Halloween candy? And tell me why. Because I'm trying to collect a bunch of Halloween candies. Maybe on one day on these lives we can do a Halloween candy tasting. It would be really fun to try some candies that I've never even had before. But leave that in the comments below. Please leave the thumbs up for this video if you enjoyed it. And make sure, please, at this juncture, the most important thing is make sure you subscribe, support this little modest channel. I put my heart and soul into my edited videos, and we have a lot of really, really fun holiday, Halloween, autumn, Thanksgiving, Christmas. This is the best time of the year. All of my content will be coming out, and some of the stuff that from the holiday season last year that never even got finished. So we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff being posted on a regular basis, starting as soon as next week. So subscribe, leave that comment, and I will be seeing you folks soon. Before I take off, let me just scroll through here and just take a look at everyone saying goodbye. We are doing an after show. Give me about 10 minutes, and you'll see me on Aromatically Speaking. The link is in the comment below. But we're doing a massive unboxing, big boxes too. And we're going to be talking about some Yankee Candle business, Halloween business. So you're not going to want to miss that show. Grab a cup of coffee, meet me back at Aromatically Speaking, my secondary live channel, and we'll have a good old time, spooky time. I'll see you guys soon. Until then, be good, will you?